It's over, Anakin! I have the high ground!
You underestimate the power of the dark side.
Don't try it!
Our story begins moments after the death of Obi-Wan by the hands of his apprentice, Anakin Skywalker, or rather now, Darth Vader. After killing his old master, Anakin had fully embraced the dark side now, and he was even more powerful than ever. It was energizing for him, and he now felt unstoppable. However, a moment of clarity hit him a bit after, realizing that his pregnant wife was in danger. Anakin retreated back to the outpost where Padme lay unconscious. Anakin took her aboard his Jedi Starfighter so that he could get her to medical attention immediately. Anakin arrives on Coruscant and gets Padme the medical attention she needs. In reality, she doesn't really need any specific attention, but what saves her life is the presence of her husband. Compared to the movie, when Padme awakes from being unconscious, she's given a rush of energy by seeing her husband alive and well. "Anakin, you're alright," Padme said. "What happened to Obi-Wan?" Anakin's smile faded with the mention of his old master. "Obi-Wan is dead. He tried to kill me, and said that after he was done with me, he would have finished you off. He didn't want our children to grow up to become enemies to him, and the corrupt Jedi." After saying this, Anakin started smiling again and changed the subject. "I'm just happy you're alive and well," Anakin said as he hugged his wife. He was willing to overlook the fact that she had taken Obi-Wan to Mustafar, but decided it was ultimately the evil Jedi's own doing. He was also thankful that Padme appeared to have not recalled everything that had happened on Mustafar. Medical droids help deliver the babies, Luke and Leia, and Anakin hangs out in the medical room with his new young family. That is when his hologram started beeping. Oh right, Palpatine, Anakin thought. Palpatine appeared on the screen, appearing to be on a ship.
"Lord Vader, I had gone to Mustafar because I had sensed you to be in danger, but you are not here. Did you deal with your old master?"
Palpatine asked. "It is done," Anakin said. "No more Jedi scum will oppose us." Palpatine smiled after hearing that Obi-Wan had been dealt with, but also had a look of uneasiness after the second part of what Vader had said.
"Well, unfortunately, the Jedi scum of Master Yoda escaped after the battle I had with him. But with the majority of the Jedi crushed by the clones, and the work you have done along with the end of the Separatists, the galaxy is ours, my apprentice," Palpatine said. "Once more, the Sith will rule the galaxy."
Anakin smiled with his master, and then shortly after finishing up his talk, he closed his hologram. When the hologram was turned off, the smile he had shown to his new master had faded. In his own thoughts, he was disappointed and furious with Sidious. How could he fail to destroy Yoda? It simply would not do. Anakin concluded that Sidious was too weak to share the galaxy with. He would have to be dealt with as well, but all in due time. Anakin would let Palpatine sort out the galaxy for the time being, as he had to focus on his wife and children for the time being in their more vulnerable state. When they were strong enough, Anakin took his new family to Naboo, with Padme's family. He had also instructed some members of the 501st that he trusted to go to Mustafar and retrieve Padme's ship for them. For a few months, Anakin spent time on Naboo, helping Padme to take care of the newborn Luke and Leia. He would also balance this between communicating with Palpatine and practicing to hone his Force powers to even greater levels. And in the meantime, Palpatine would update Anakin on important matters going on with the galaxy. Palpatine had of course transitioned the Republic to the Galactic Empire and was making sure he held a strong grip over the new Galactic Senators. He'd also update from time to time when important Jedi were found and killed. Eventually though, Palpatine was fed up with Anakin being on the sidelines for too long. Anakin's hologram rang in the late night, waking the kids, leaving Padme to put them back to sleep. Anakin heads outside to take the call.
"Lord Vader, I have received word of the whereabouts of Jedi Master Quinlan Vos. He was sighted on Kashyyyk, leading rogue Wookiees against our forces and causing problems with our labor recruitment program. Go and deal with the Jedi and these animals, and return to me once it is finished."
"It will be done, my master," Anakin replied. Again, Anakin did well to keep his true thoughts to himself. After spending time on Naboo, he improved his force powers in other forms, but with no action in a while, he was losing some of his dark side power and aura. Once he had killed Quinlan Vos and wiped out the rogue Wookiees, he knew he would gain the dark side power back, stronger than ever and honed with his training. Anakin decided that a lot of important events would unfold on this rotation. He returned to his room to help Padme put the children back to sleep and informed her that he would be going away for a while. He then instructed Padme to take the kids and leave in the morning to go into hiding with his old family on Tatooine. He knew they would be safe and hidden there, away from any potential conflicts to come. He explained to her that more changes would be happening soon in the galaxy, and vowed to end Palpatine's tyranny. He then embraced Padme deeply, giving her a meaningful kiss. After seeing his kids one more time, he headed out on his mission, promising he would be back soon to get her and the kids on Tatooine. Anakin emerged from hyperspace in his old Jedi starfighter in the space above Kashyyyk. There were 2 Venators over the space of Kashyyyk. R2 let out a couple of beeps of concern, but Anakin reassured the droid. "Don't worry, R2, this won't take long." Anakin landed at the Imperial command post and caught up with the situation from the clone commander. "Lord Vader, my men and I are getting wiped out by this group of rogue Wookiees. If it weren't for the tyrannous Jedi helping them, we would have dealt with them by now. Glad you are here, sir, to help us out. Our scouts last report sighting the rogues a couple miles deeper in the woods. I have a squad waiting and ready at your command." Anakin put a hand on the clone's shoulder. "That won't be necessary. Commander, your clones will just get in the way. I will deal with this trash myself." As you wish." Anakin didn't have respect for the overly obedient clones and only trusted his own unit of the 501st, which were preoccupied at the time. Besides, he was in the mood to test out his new powers. Jedi Master Quinlan Vos would make for a good warm-up for the true fight to come later that day. Anakin tracked down the rogue band of Wookiees, who had made a camp not far from where the scouts had reported. He wasted no time going to the first Wookiee hut, igniting his lightsaber and mowing down 3 sleeping Wookiee warriors. By then, the rest of the camp was waking up from the sound of a humming lightsaber and the smell of roasted corpses. Anakin used his lightsaber at first, easily deflecting any bowcaster shot his way and dismembering countless Wookiees. After slaying nearly 24 Wookiees, his eyes were fully back to the true Sith yellow, and he started using now the dark side of the Force to its full potential, lifting up Wookiees and crushing their throats with the Force. It was gruesome. He had to have laid waste to nearly half the camp when finally he heard the ever-so-expected ignition of another lightsaber from behind him. "Ah, Quinlan Vos. You might make for a worthy opponent," Anakin said. "Look what you've become. Your spree of darkness ends here," Quinlan said. Anakin only laughed and then reignited his own now red saber to match Quinlan's green. Quinlan was able to block the first handful of blows, but it didn't take long for Vader to disarm him. Anakin was disappointed the duel was so boring for him, so he tortured Quinlan for his failure to please him with a more proper fight. Anakin first cut off both arms of Quinlan, taking care to do them one at a time. With each scream, Vader became more powerful in the dark side, honing its potential. Eventually, he was bored of that too, and put an end to Quinlan, crushing his spine with the Force. He went on to kill off the rest of the rogue Wookiees, sparing none. He could feel the dark side flowing through him, greater than even at his time at the Operation Nightfall in the Jedi Temple. When it was all said and done, he returned back to the Imperial command post, with barely an hour even passing by. The commander was shocked to learn that Vader had dealt with the insurgents so swiftly, and learning of this display of power prompted him to respect him more greatly. Anakin shrugged it off and headed to his starfighter, and started preparing himself mentally for his final meeting with his master. Anakin arrived at Palpatine's office on Coruscant and entered. Palpatine informed his guards to leave them.
"Ah, Lord Vader, were you able to complete your assignment?"
Sidious asked. Yes, Anakin replied as he got closer to Palpatine.
Good. You have done well, my young apprentice. With your power, we will crush all that oppose the security of our new empire.
Sidious replied, sporting a sick smile. About that, Anakin said, and ignited his crimson saber. I have no use for you anymore, Anakin said. This is my empire, and I don't intend to share it with you. Darth Sidious rose from his chair, the smile now being replaced with a look of pure hatred. It was truly a sight of terror. A saber of his own emerged from his robe, and he ignited the crimson blade.
A pity. You could have been so much more useful to me. But alas, you have done most of my dirty work for me already,
Sidious said. He then sent a force scream and lunged at Anakin at an incredible pace, but Anakin was expecting this and set his attack aside. The two Sith Lords, Master and Apprentice, went at it with lightsabers moving faster than any Jedi could dream of. The movements of their strikes were so fast you would have to slow it down for the human eye to see. Sidious utilized a mix of all forms of lightsaber fighting styles, while Anakin focused more on his Form 5 Gem So, using the aggressive form to press on and attack versus Sidious. They were roughly evenly matched, with blows being shared between them. Sidious was surprised with his apprentice's progress, and even through his anger took pride in knowing he created this monster. However, he hadn't taught Anakin everything about the dark side just yet. When their sabers locked together after trading blows, Sidious let out a wave of Sith lightning with his free hand, powerful enough to break Vader's defenses and send him flying across the room. Darth Sidious laughed and started walking toward his apprentice to finish him off.
Now, you will die,
Sidious said as he got closer to his apprentice. Vader sprung up after being briefly dazed and reignited his crimson blade and returned to the fight. He was angry now, and he used that anger to fuel his strength. He was so focused on the fight and killing Palpatine that he had forgotten what he was truly fighting for. He had a wife and kids now, and he would defeat Palpatine no matter what to ensure their safety. Sidious and Vader exchanged more lightsaber blows for a time, and they both seemingly got more ambitious, looking to end the fight. In a simultaneous blow, the Sith duo severed each other's lightsaber holding hands, with Sidious losing his right hand and saber being destroyed, while Anakin's metallic arm was destroyed and his lightsaber was knocked back. Sidious was annoyed at the loss of his hand and used this anger to fuel a powerful wave of Sith Force lightning at Vader with his one good hand. But in the moments following, Vader lifted his good hand, his actual flesh and blood hand, and sent a wave of his own Force lightning to meet Palpatine's. Now, to use Force lightning, you have to experience it firsthand. In the months after Obi-Wan's death, Anakin had meditated deeply and harnessed his Force powers. He looked back on when Dooku had used Force lightning on him all that time ago on Geonosis, and began experimenting with Force lightning of his own. However, there was a difference between Anakin and Palpatine's Force lightning, and that was the fact that Anakin's was pure red lightning, a manifestation of the Chosen One using the dark side to its full potential. He had witnessed the Son use this lightning years ago on Mortis, and knew he would need his Force lightning to be like that if he were to take out Sidious. Palpatine's Sith lightning met Anakin's crimson lightning of his own, and a contest of Force power ensued. The intensity of the light was so great, Anakin had to squint to be able to see. For a time, Palpatine's lightning matched Anakin's, and there was a stalemate of such. But when Anakin dug deep, thinking about the need to win this fight for Padme and his kids, he stepped up his lightning to another level, pushing Palpatine's back till eventually he was pushed back against the wall of his office and the crimson lightning absorbed into him, eventually disintegrating. Darth Sidious, the Dark Lord of the Sith, was no more. Anakin let out a large sigh of relief and then gathered to his feet, collecting his saber. Now I am the Dark Lord of the Sith and the Emperor of the Galaxy, Anakin thought to himself. Lord Vader would dispose of any of the Emperor's guards easily, and made his way to find Palpatine's trusted advisor, Mas Amedda. He would use his Force powers to manipulate Mas Amedda into believing that Palpatine had died of natural causes, and his dying wish was to make Anakin the next Emperor. Anakin would then instruct Amida to hold a special session with the Senate where Anakin Skywalker would be proclaimed the new Emperor in light of Palpatine's accident. Anakin would go on to retrieve his wife and kids from Tatooine and return to Coruscant to begin his rule. He would have new prosthetic arms swiftly made for himself as well. Anakin would go on to rule as Emperor of the Galaxy, bringing peace, freedom, justice, and security to his new empire, and ruled alongside his wife Padme. At first, she was not so inclined to say goodbye to democracy, but then she realized how much she could get done in the galaxy with the power of being Empress. The people of this empire were treated much more fairly than that of the empire from the movies, and for the most part, people were content. Most of the small folk didn't care about what happened with the subtleties of politics. Anakin, also known as Darth Vader, Dark Lord of the Sith, would help raise his kids with Padme and teach them the ways of the Force, and not just the dogmatic view of the Jedi, but all aspects of the Force. For the most part, the galaxy was largely at peace, at least for a time. That is, until one day, a threat to Anakin's empire would emerge. Bail Organa had enough of this empire and had rallied a sort of rebellion to oppose the empire. And with the military leader of this insurgency being someone of particular interest to Anakin, this new civil war was sure to become interesting. Though, with Anakin Skywalker reaching his full potential, it was unlikely this rebellion would end up being much of a threat. Or so he thought.